So it's going to be all about AI, artificial intelligence, and automation. And first up will be some introduction for those that haven't seen Autodesk Forma before, but also some updates. There's several updates that has been released since they launched it this spring. And to do that, I have got Daniel from the Community Manager in Autodesk, and also Krzysztof to take us through the bits and parts about Autodesk Forma, the updates that has recently been released. And Chris will then take us a little bit down to the Forma ecosystem, the third party, and how we as Symetri, as partner for Autodesk, can engage and be a part of that ecosystem. So Daniel and Krzysztof, thank you for joining me today. And Daniel, please shed some light on what's happening on Autodesk Forma from AU.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Jan Tore, for the nice introduction. So today I will do a very, very short introduction about Autodesk Forma and tell you a little bit what's new. It wouldn't be an Autodesk presentation without our safe harbor. It just means we want to share as much as possible with you, but you need to take everything with a grain of salt because our future statements might not come to realization. And even before we jump into the Autodesk Forma, I would like just to take a few seconds to stop and understand where we stand as an industry. And what we have heard, and you know all about it, the open letters, is that this process is very fragmented. We are working with proprietary file types. It's really hard to get the tools to talk with each other, which also limits to take the best out of each one, which limits the automation, decision support. And when we go deep and we use tools like Revit, sometimes we have an overwhelming level of detail that does not allow us to see the big picture. And we do believe there is an opportunity here to disrupt the way we work, and we can do that in the cloud. So Forma, Autodesk Forma, is the new ACO. By the way, the O, if you don't know, it's about operations, industry cloud. And the idea is really that we would allow people that work in the industry to work from planning to operations and across multiple verticals: buildings, transportation, industrial, and water. But this is a multi-year journey, right? Just imagine having all of these in the cloud. It will take some time for us to enable others to help us in that journey, but also for us to create that kind of capability. So we needed to start in a place, and we have decided that planning and buildings is the right place, is the sweet spot to start, because it's where we can create the most value. I think you all realize, and I've seen this graph before. We really love it. And you basically have two axes, right? Here it's about the effort, but also the ability to kind of change things. And here you have the timeline. So in the beginning is really where you can change so much. You can really create the whole framework, define the value. Everything is possible. But as you start going through the project, you start becoming much more limited in terms of changes, and the cost of those changes go up and up and up. And again, where we see this kind of sweet spot where we want to operate and bring this platform to life is here between the start and the development phase. And that's really where we are thriving. We have multiple, would be really cool to actually see the product in action, so you have a much better sense of our capabilities. And I have a little video for you. This is a very, very short video, but the whole idea is that you understand what are the capabilities that you can already find in Forma today, because this is a multi-year vision, and we can get very excited about it. But what I want to make it very clear is that you can leverage this technology today. We went live in May, and since May we have done more than 100 updates, because being a cloud solution, you only have one version. Everyone is in the latest, and we are pushing this all the time, right? Every week it's more than 3 updates that we are doing a week, and we learn very quickly from everyone that is using it. And now I will share this demo. Being a cloud solution, it means that there is only one source of truth. You can collaborate with all your colleagues, doesn't matter where they are. And we are trying to break silos, bring as many stakeholders as possible to one platform so we can have informed discussions. And everything starts with creating a project with contextual data. So you would just click new project, you go to a service that looks very much like Google Maps, you write the plot address. Today we are going to Brazil. I'm really cold here in Norway, so let's get a bit warm. And Forma will immediately zoom in to the right area. And then our service will connect with all the data providers that you need in order to create this 3D world. And in Brazil, we don't have many data providers, but we have always OpenStreetMap for buildings, also for roads. Terrain, we are also fetching it automatically, but these data providers will vary a lot from country to country, as well with the quality. And Krzysztof maybe will touch upon it a bit later on. All that data will show automatically on the left-hand side. And the cool thing here is that within a few minutes, you have a complete 3D scene of the world. So something that for me as an architect would take me maybe 2 days to create, we can do within just minutes in Autodesk Forma. I just removed the existing buildings that I want to demolish, and now I will define the site limit according to my project brief. There are multiple ways to design in Forma. I will just show you one because it's my favorite, and I feel that this is what actually disrupts design. We want to give you the freedom to explore a lot. And what else than a line that defines a whole building can do it better? This is a city block. We have other things like row houses that are just popping up. We have enclosed better. But the whole point is that you explore a lot. And while you do it, we give you the right tools to do it fast so that you learn quickly. So right now what I will do is push these to 12 stories. This one will be 8. And we will immediately see how many square meters we have on this proposal. So as we work, Autodesk Forma tells us how is this building performing? What are the areas we have here? We also have a little bit of generative design. And the whole idea again is to go wide, is to explore the solution room. And it's again very parametric. You define how many stories you want to have, the urban layout types. You type the plot you want to generate, and you will get multiple solutions here. And the idea again is not being like a golden standard answer. I mean, we still need architects to drive these, but we want to inspire people. We want our designers to hit the floor running and have fun in that process. And it's not really just about the design, it's about the performance of those designs. That's really what Autodesk Forma brings to the table. We have multiple environmental analyses. Right now, I'm showing you sun. And what you see here is it's a computational of each pixel on a given day of the year in terms of sun hours. So it's not just a shadow study, it's really like a full calculation of each pixel. We also have daylight potential. 3 color gradings. Dark blue means that we are unlikely to meet the requirements. So you see a lot of dark blue areas. We immediately see that if we would go for this proposal, this would be an issue because the 3, 4 first floors are extremely dark, which will affect directly the health of people that would inhabit that place. We also have wind simulations. There is a lot, right? But for example, this one was something that architects loved from the first day, although they were not doing wind simulations from day one. But they were asking, we need that in the roof as well, because we want to have roof terraces. This is something that we have learned from you, and we have now in the product. And now you are looking at a comfort scale, very easy to understand. Light green means that it's very comfortable. Yellow, red means very uncomfortable, or even possibilities of a storm. And all of this happens in the cloud. For wind, it might take 2 hours. and we understood we need to make it even faster, right? So we developed surrogate models that are able to predict the results within seconds, so that you can iterate over and over again your designs, understand how you can optimize for performance, and then run a golden standard analysis, what I showed you earlier on. But this idea that you have AI helping you measure the performance of your designs at every instance of the design process is really transformational. That's what we are learning from the people that are using this tool. One more tool, one more analysis. This is microclimate, extremely important for Brazil. We are looking at January, really warm month, for very common temperature, bulb temperature of 31 degrees. And we see that on the ground, we expect temperatures of 36 degrees. That's way too much. Like, even for Brazil, that's really, really warm, and that's a huge impact environmentally. And we will see that when we start taking all of those things into consideration, we are learning what works and what doesn't work in our project. And same is true for sound. Red means and yellow means that it's really noisy, and we'll see that the courtyards are really quiet on 40 decibels. So if we would be having like a public plaza over there, it would be just a noisy place that people would not enjoy. But we need to learn these from day one. So I can consider like this is not a good idea. I think this is the last one I'm showing, and it's solar panels. I'm no specialist in this area, but right now Forma gives me the opportunity to assess how many kilowatt hours I can generate from the roof. 80% coverage, 13% panel efficiency, and I immediately see what is the potential. So we learn a lot while we draw. This is part of the outcome-based design. We are very much focused on optimizing the performance of what we are doing, and the performance is actually what drives us on our iteration loops. So I worked just 1 hour on this project, and I just tried to make something better than my first starting point. And you can see that the temperatures on the ground on the right-hand side are now 29 degrees. So we went quite significantly lower in terms of temperatures on the ground. And it's not because I'm a magician, it's just because I'm learning. And I understood that my first idea was not that good. In terms of daylight, we saw some issues. But what I understood is that if I start opening up these courtyards and allow light to come through the buildings, you can see on the right-hand side that it's not perfect, and it will never be in a very dense urban environment, but it got much, much better. And same holds true for noise. If we use the buildings to protect that main area, right, we will filter the sound, and we just see that within that red circle, we have now much less red. And I'm sure if I would work now 1 or 2 extra hours with this project, I would be able to do a much better job. So what I wanted to bring home is that we allow you to create a 3D model extremely quickly, explore a solution room within minutes. You have hundreds of different proposals, and then you can learn about the performance of those designs. These are the native capabilities of Autodesk Forma today, but we understood we want to do more, right? We cannot solve the whole workflow ourselves. So we want to take a step further, go beyond the Autodesk world, and that's what Krzysztof will be talking about. So I will pass now the word over to you.
Absolutely, gladly. As Daniel mentions, what I'm going to be talking about and what I'm going to be presenting is a little bit different than what Daniel was showing, just because it's more connected with a longer term vision of Autodesk Forma, of how it connects with other Autodesk softwares, but also how do we plan to enable others to build capabilities to basically enhance the end user experience. In front of you, you can see the my take on Daniel's graph that you've seen before, which is a long-term vision of Autodesk Forma. It differs with one very essential component, which is that it has a third-party capabilities on it. And how I love to think about it is that we truly want to build almost like a grid on which we will be putting the hexagons of the capabilities, and those hexagons, those capabilities will be coming from us, from Autodesk, just because we have a lot of software that is already on the market, with stuff like Revit, AutoCAD, Civil, many of which you are probably very, very familiar with. But there are also many other solutions that are coming from end customers, many solutions that are coming from consultants, partners like Symetri, but also other software companies. So what we want to enable in the future as Forma is basically to become a platform, to become an ecosystem, which allows you to combine all of those capabilities together. And as mentioned, this vision is grand, since it spans from planning through design, construction, up onto operation, and lifting basically everything to the cloud. And we are not there. Where we are, as we've started from the very tiny bit of this, which is building and planning, but we've already basically set up with a mission of doing what we want to do in the first long term and demonstrate those capabilities on a smaller scale. So what we did is basically we combined, on top of the Forma platform, we combined the capabilities that you might have been familiar with from SpaceMaker, a Norwegian startup that was acquired, and Format, so basically web modeling tools. And we put both of them on top of the platform to work together and basically demonstrate the value that Daniel was excellently explaining just a moment ago. But there was one more very important bit, which is that from the very get-go, we started with open APIs. We've started with the vision of Forma being co-created by other people. So this is what was launched already in May, with already third-party capabilities that were available to the users within the interface. So how I would summarize Daniel's value chain, what you've seen in the product, I would divide it basically to three pieces of what we offer natively today. So basically we enable you to be able to build a scene very, very quickly on the web, getting the data sources such as buildings, roads, site limits, everything basically that is necessary for you to kickstart your project basically within 1 single minute. Then we give you a set of tools that also Daniel was showing very well for how to design the building very, very quickly, either as automations or manual design. And then we give you also a set of analysis that are environmental analysis that are able to assess the value of what we've designed in the previous step. And as mentioned, like the magic of this works in iteration of being able to change something and get the results on this very, very quickly. Where the teams that I work with come into play is we don't do basically any of that. What we do is we do underlying platform, and we open APIs for others to come and create this vision with us. We believe that this pie is definitely big enough for all of us to slice, to grow the pie instead of slicing the pie, and that's why we believe in others that can create this functionality with us. So for each of those blocks, we already see some companies that are coming in and they are contributing to the platform and reselling their functionality to others, but we also see other end users that are building this functionality for themselves on top of the platform. So we can see data marketplace that is emerging with other people contributing to contextual data of Forma. So you're not reliant only on the sources that we connected, but actually you can get sources from other providers such as Plexer, Esri, Regret, and many others. We can see that people are building, and we are building more design and automation tools. We are connecting as Autodesk, we are connecting existing tools from Autodesk Suite and to this cloud vision. And then we are also either connecting ourselves or we have other people coming in and building the functionality for more authoring capabilities. Then finally, we do the same for analysis. So you're not only reliant on our analysis, but also others can build those functionalities within the product itself. So a couple of examples that I just wanted to give you, like within this vision of those 3 steps. One really cool example that actually just appeared a week ago, basically out of nowhere for me, which was super cool, is what company Plexserve did within Forma, which is that they started providing very high resolution imagery. I think the blurry image is the Google Maps that you would normally get, and the stuff that they get as satellite images and they put it into Forma is extremely high quality, which allows you for better design and better evaluation and at the very early stages of the design. What our friends at TestFit did is that straight out of the box, they provided us with their parking functionality, where you can very quickly automate creation and calculation of the parking spots within this Forma environment. We also have a Rhino integration that is working on a similar premise, that we don't want you to be only reliant on our tools. There are plenty of great tools out there on the market that are already great at designing and creating, and we want you to be able to model within those tools. So you can see that on the right we have Rhino. We are modeling something, and it's already pops in Forma as basically almost native buildings. So something that can be scheduled, something that you can assign a function to, something that you can calculate the areas with, while keeping your geometry completely in Rhino. This also allows, and the main purpose of this probably is not only to calculate the areas, but also get the access to the various analysis that Daniel was highlighting. So in this example, we're basically editing and pushing different options into Forma environment, so we can very easily compare them in this environment, while also being able to take it to Revit later on. So this is our Revit connection, which allows for bringing the data into Revit, but also bringing the Revit data the other direction from this project that we've just brought into Forma environment, if you wish to use Revit for your authoring capabilities or designing capabilities. And then finally, one cool example that we also recently seen was Veras from Evolve Lab. That would be more on the analysis side, which allows you to basically generate AI images based on the prompts using Stable Diffusion to generate like some very quick visual evaluation of what this project could potentially look like. And what is cool about all of this is none of the teams that I work with create the functionality themselves. What we do is basically we work with other companies. We work with open APIs to allow people to be able to build in and create functionality on top of the platform. And this vision would never be possible without community, without customers, without other third-party software companies that could be considered as competition, but in Forma they are not, but also partners like Symetri. This vision wouldn't be possible without other people that are basically creating, and they're willing to commit and trust us on this vision. And I think one excellent example is what Symetri did. And I think Jan Tore, you can show us a little bit more about how did it go and what's actually coming there.
Yeah, as Krzysztof was talking about, and also the presentation you saw from Daniel, is that they are very much relying on third parties engaging into the Forma platform on several levels, everything from conceptual design and so forth. So we were approached by the Autodesk Forma extension team back in August this year. For those of you who have seen the previous version of Forma, a SpaceMaker, they had an outdoor area analyze extension sitting on the SpaceMaker platform that was not brought into the Forma platform. It was deprecated now in October. And the Forma team asked us, could you take on that responsibility to bring that extension to the market for existing customers now on the Forma platform? So we signed an agreement with the extension team as the first task, and let me see if I can pull up the next picture, similar to what Daniel and Krzysztof was talking about. that sits within the analyze part, meaning that we will be leveraging all the analysis done by the platform, but with then a focus on what is called outdoor area analysis. So why do we need outdoor area analysis? Why do cities need this one? And it's all about ensuring the quality of life. Make sure that people love living there and work there as well. When talking about outdoor spaces, there are several elements we need to consider in that part. And that goes from everything from vegetation, the space that Daniel was talking about, showing those sunlit analysis, how much sun is available on the site, and noise is impacting. Do we have play areas for kids? And of course, how close is it to existing infrastructure and buildings? So we sat down and looked at the Forma or the extension that was on the SpaceMaker platform, and how can we bring that into the Forma platform. And as you see, different countries, different regulations, even different regulations within the same country and cities that we need to comply to and provide a solution for our customers to really make sure that they are within the regulations and the demands for the area they are planning to build on. So in the first step, we are to cater for regulation requirements in Norway, but of course, in later stage, the objective is also to provide extension for the wider global market. And what's next? We are currently finalizing our MVP, the minimal viable product, to be available for the customers in beginning of December. And I will say that if you are interested to test out the prototype being available now, provide feedback, voice your needs, you already now today have the possibility to go into the Symetri ideation portal. It's crucial for the team to get that type of input, so we make sure that we are shaping the tools development into the right direction for your needs out there.